Check 1 2, testing 1 2. Let's test out the audio here. Check 1 2, testing 1 2. And give me just a second and I will check this other mic. Check 1 2, check 1 2. This is the lapel mic. Check 1 2, check 1 2. This is the lapel mic. Okay, we're gonna. Alright, this is the one we're going to be using for now. Welcome everybody to the big reveal. This is Man Cave Studios. And what I'm going to do in this live stream is have you sit down with me, follow me along as I give you the tour of the place, okay? And I'm also going to give you the before and after what it used to look like. This was basically a stripped down shed that was used as a workshop from the previous owners who lived here. When we first bought the house, one of the conditions was that I wanted my own studio. And for the last 3 years, I have been doing any studio, live streams, anything out of the basement. And so now I have my own studio with my own lights that change color. And I'm so happy. This has been a long time in the coming. And I want to have you come with me and join me on this process. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my iPhone camera. I've recently figured out how to do that. And we are going to go all around this studio. And I'm going to show you every square inch of what I've done to the place. Okay. And then after that, we're going to sit back down here and show you the photos of the before and after and show you how this goes. Okay. So I do apologize though, because as you probably just heard, the lapel mic isn't all that great. So I will be using that when I'm walking around with my iPhone so you can actually hear what's going on. Okay. So without further ado, let's switch to the iPhone camera, and take it with me around the place, okay? So I'm going to add that to OBS right now. And hopefully that will work. Do this. Okay, well, I'll turn my iPhone off because it's not want to recognize it for some reason. Move. Hopefully this will recognize this because I actually told it to disconnect. I don't know how to tell it to connect again. So let me turn this back on. And once we get it going, I will switch to the lapel mic. How is everybody tonight? Hopefully we'll get some viewers here, some people that are seeing what's going on and be notified that I've got a live stream going on. I haven't done a live stream in a while because I've been busy working on this building. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and get this started. All right, now let's see if I can connect this. Hopefully this is not a you must restart OBS to make this recognize it, because if it is, I'm stuck. Here it is. Bingo. Yes, you can disconnect from the Mac camera list. Okay, so here we are. All right, so now I'm going to switch to the lapel mic, and we shall go around the tour here. Check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, good deal. Now, as we begin, let's see, can I turn this? Yes, I can turn this and get a lengthwise picture of this. Let's just go ahead and start here. Oh, by the way, hey Siri. Will this work? Hey Siri. No, it will not. So what I'm going to do is change my lights so that you can actually see what's going on. Hey Siri. Main white lights. Main white lights. going to have to change this probably. That's all right. Give me just a second. I'm going to change these lights here to main white lights. There we go. Now we're ready to go. All right. So now, cool thing is, yes, I can change these lights up here. These are LED lights. I've got these in 4 locations here, and I can change these at will. And it looks like when I try to switch to a different screen, it's going to take the camera off, and it does. Okay, so I'm not going to fool with that right now. We're going to go back to the camera. This is the guitar wall I have dreamed of for a long time. This is actually rainbow popular. There's a local wood person in town that does all kinds of sawmilling and wood kind of work and all kinds of stuff like that. And so what we have is we have some rainbow poplar, and as you can see, the grain on this is gorgeous. I put 3 coats of acrylic, I think it was water-based acrylic on here from Minmax. And as you go down, you can see more grain in all these places. Gorgeous. And what I've done is, as you can see, the foam insulation here has been taken out of some places, because actually what's behind here, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but behind here there are some 1x2s or whatever they're called. There's a little, you know, these things down here. See that? Now that's like a 1x1 or whatever they're called. I've had to do that because the foam was so far out, sticking so far out, that I couldn't get this against the wall. So I've had to put some extensions. And what I've done is I've actually braced some extensions here with some brackets on the top and the bottom, so you can see those in there. Okay, so those are, once you get up in there, they've got spacers. This one does not. This one does. For the most part, there's some spacers in here so that I can keep this out and not have to push it too much. Now, some of these are pretty loose. Like that one's loose. I could probably tighten that again. There's one way over here that's really loose, as you can see. But once I tighten that, the other ones get loose. So I can't really do anything about that. I just have to leave it the way it is for now. Hopefully this air conditioner is, let me just go ahead and turn the air conditioner off for a second so that there'll be no noise in the background. Okay, so rainbow poplar, what this was a completely huge piece of wood, this length, okay, this whole length. And they carved the middle out of this, they cut the middle out, and it gave me 2 flat slabs. And I've done something else with the middle, and I will show you that here in just a little bit. But just the other day, I finally finished putting up the guitar hangers. These were from Donner, okay? And these other ones are the ones that I had from Fret Rest for the longest time. And so I just took some bolts and screwed all these into the wall the best way I could. And instead of just 2x4 sitting across, or trying to put these into the actual studs and only having like 4 spaces, I made a guitar wall. This is my vision. This is the way I intended it to be, and saw it here and wanted it to be like this. And so now I can hang all my guitars up here the way I want to. Up here is a big 8-point deer that I killed several years ago. My dad mounted the head for me. And currently I'm using it, as you can see, for a guitar cable holder. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. As you can see, the whole place is sealed with spray foam insulation. This is open cell insulation, which is less dense, so that it can absorb sound better. And hopefully you're hearing that in here. There's not a lot of echo at all, very little echo if any, and it's all pretty much I don't have to worry about treatment because of this. So it's really awesome. I didn't want to put walls up here and have to end up putting acoustic panels on top of those walls. So instead of doing that, I just left it like this, and I thought, well, I want it spray painted, so we'll spray paint it. Have somebody spray paint it. This is called hematite. This color is called hematite, and I think it might be from Valspar. We got it at Lowe's. And what I'll do is I've actually got some more spray. I'll buy a can of it, like at Lowe's or wherever, and I'll just fill in those gaps, and then I can, once every year, couple of years, I can go back and touch up the spots where I've accidentally hit, you know, and things like that. No big deal. And if I want to one of these days, you know, turn this into some walls, then I can do that. I just shave it off to flat like those are, and I can make that happen. But I don't see myself doing that. But anyway, let's move on. Down here in the middle, we have a little rug that gives me coffee colors that I like. And this is just a huge chair with a pillow, and I decided to, this is a blanket that my mom made for me, and I've had it for years, and I used to drape it over my guitars, if you can remember, to kind of keep it from being too. This has a little strap down here, and this unfolds, and you can actually lay it, and you can lay down on it, like if you wanted to take a nap, or if you just wanted to chill out and have some time to think, you just bring it out almost like a futon and just lay on it. Okay, so I've got, for right now, cases are there, and eventually I'll probably put cases. I don't know if I'll leave those against the wall or what I'll do with those, because it isn't that big in here once all this stuff is in. Back here, what was holding my guitars before in the, what am I trying to say, in the basement, now I've got it right here in case I need to put some more guitars there. For now, that's where that is. Just some crates and some, shop towels that I bought, some spare cases, some brooms, a little maintenance stuff, some clamps that I use to clamp the desk that I'll be showing you in just a minute. These are my dad's. I've got to give those back to him. This was a huge slab of wood that was actually attached to the workbench desk where my main desk is now. And it was coming out and it just added more surface area. Before, it looks kind of like the work desk back here, which I can go ahead and turn on the lights and you can kind of see what's going on. This is my work desk, my workbench, and basically that was on top of this in the middle to extend that, give you more surface area, but it was back that way where my main desk is. So this is where I keep all my tools to work on the guitars now that I've got. I've got some string, all my strings up here. This is not the way I'm going to keep this, by the way. It's just here for now while I need it. Some shelves I installed not too long ago. This one's kind of crooked. Oh well, I'll try to make it as level as I could. And I've got another shelf over here, and I've actually got some more of these pegboard kind of things I might install over here, but I've got some for later if I need those. I plan on putting a bookshelf right here, just a small one, and adding some more books here if I need it. And I've got a bookshelf down here that I'm probably going to use for all these boxes you see are mostly music books and different things related to music, and that's probably going to be on this side. If I need those, I can come over here and get them, because they're going to be out of reach, so I won't need them as much. But yeah, this is my workbench. I've got the light right there, and when I had this place installed, or when I had it going, the electricity and all that put in, I opted for some USB outlets, because that way I won't have to have and block any of these outlets. Okay, so here on the floor, like I said, you got some boxes, an extra guitar case, the paint that I actually used to spray paint. I didn't spray paint it, somebody else did. They were a professional spray painter, and they said they would never do this again, because apparently the foam, you had to go over a lot before all the cracks and crevices were covered. Okay, so in the corner here, I've got a Black & Decker kind of portable, air conditioner unit. It does air, it does fan, heat, and also the last thing it does is, just a second here, something wrong with the thing, dehumidifies. So it's a dehumidifier. In the back, I've got it set to, there's a little hose that goes all the way back that I've had tremendous amounts of trouble with out of this unit, because it doesn't want it to properly drain. But here lately it has been. I think it's when it's the extreme cold weather, the tank that gets full is actually froze, and so you have to let it thaw out instead of it draining properly sometimes. So that was the aggravation with that. This is just in here for when I was drilling wood, the shop vac, so that I could actually really quickly pick up. I can actually tell I need to do some sweeping in here. This was in my basement downstairs, and I'll just use it right now. It's kind of cluttered, but I've got CDs, I've got cables, some video stuff, lighting stuff, all the manuals that I have for my studio is in this box, and then my guitar maintenance box if I need it. I know where to find it. These label things I got on Amazon, which are really cool. They're just metal, and they come with like a little white marker board marker. It's erasable. It's really cool. Bunch of strings here that I don't know what I'm going to do with. I had some ideas, but I don't really know. And there's my other pegboard things. And it's just like a little cubby area to organize things. I've got my strings here that I can sort from. Some miscellaneous items down here for now that I don't know what to do with, and my stash of finger ease, foam finger ease fretboard spray, which I love. So there's right now my picks are right there. There's my pick holder, tons of picks, as you can see. Okay, so we have some blackout curtains here that I installed with some cast iron rods. I love the look of that. It looks really nice in here. We got the panel, the box panel here. Of course, the doors. We've got those were fully sprayed, so I don't have to worry about that. Overhead, I've got some storage right now. Just a bunch of wood that came with the shed. Some of the foam mats actually is what I used for the flooring. So if you can see the flooring here, we used some exercise diamond pattern foam mats. And the problem with that is sometimes it bubbles up here. And that's because we cut it a little bit long so that we wouldn't have to worry about, not having enough. But now we got to go back sometime and kind of maybe trim some of this down so that it will not bubble like that. Okay, so I'm going to have to get me a different welcome mat. I just had to steal one from the house right now to get this to work. And as we come over here, we have shelves I installed just the other day for my writing station. This is going to be, this whole desk here, at least from this point onward, is going to be just dedicated to writing. And I actually got my laptop down here so I can maybe do some writing later if I feel like it. If not, then any other time I'm in here, I can do some writing. Love having just a little writing place, and if I want to, I can actually use this as the background to present myself, and do some writing videos or whatever with books in the background. Okay, so some more blackout curtains over here. We have this desk. I'm going to go ahead and show to you. On the bottom is just some random tools that I was using at the time to sand some of these things down, along with a little thing that I haven't got to use yet. This is kind of like a little cabinet with a little drawer in it and a door that opens. Yes, you can see it from down here. Probably end up using that as like an inbox or something and just storage for the little cabinet thing. I haven't set it up or anything yet. Extra chair, extra outlet thing, some microphones, some other things like that. Over here, the desk, let's just talk about the desk for a second. The desk is made of ambrosia maple. I bought, let's see, I think it was 3 pieces from a person in Sparta. It wasn't fully dried yet, even though he told me it was. It was not. So the people that I got that wood from, I had them cure this wood. Not cure it, but what's it called? Not cure. They put it in a kiln. They dried it out for me, basically. And I'm kind of hearing an echo, so I'm going to turn this down for now. They dried this out for me, and it took them about 2 months to get all this dried out. Then they cut it for me to the dimensions that we measured here. And so we've made it a huge L desk. You can see we've joined it here. There are some imperfections where, the wood was kind of maybe a little warped, and so it kind of rose here. I could go back with a planer or a sander or something to make that flat, but I'm not really worried about that right now. There's another spot over here that kind of does the same thing. That little line kind of raises right in there. But I'm not going to worry about that right now because I just wanted to get in this place. So it's got a beautiful live edge. I actually took this, and just so you know, this is called ambrosia maple because of what's called the ambrosia beetle. Makes these little holes like right here, and it goes in there, and because it eats on this wood and messes with it in here, it creates these little streaks. Okay, these little streaks, and that's what the ambrosia beetle does. It makes these ambrosia streaks in here, and they're all throughout, and we got some beautiful grain here. Isn't that gorgeous? So the live edge, you can see where the edge was cut off. I actually got the bark of all this live edge is over here on the floor, because what I want to do is create a kind of like a music diffuser, some diffusers like you've seen probably. Take that and mount that to one of these pieces of wood up here, cut it to size to where it will fit right above me in that little area. Okay, and just glue a bunch of that on there and just have a big bark diffuser. I think that'll be really cool. That is my overhead storage, so I've got some other things not really stored up there right now, but just some more storage space. But yeah, love this desk. Love, love, love how it extends out beyond here. I've actually got some braces under there to keep it supported. Ambrosia maple, some other gear things. I've actually stained this with coffee. I strong brewed some coffee with my AeroPress, and it was about half a mason jar full, about half a quart, and it was really dark. And so I stained all this, rubbed it all down 4 different times, to get this nice brownish coffee color, obviously. And then what I used after that was the people over there at the wood place that I got the wood from, the other wood from, told me to use this feed and wax polish stuff, to use that orange oil. And I applied 2 coats to this to get to kind of, not hydrated, but, feed it and make it look presentable, make it look nice. And before I did that, I actually sanded this to a 200 and something grit, I think, maybe. Man, that's gorgeous. So I love having this to look at. Over here, this is basically my setup. I've got 2 monitors. My speakers are over here until I get me some stands. Little neon light thing that my Aunt Danny gave to me. She gave me one in there and one that was back here on this wall. So that's where I decided to put those. Thanks, Danny. Finally got a place to put those. So just all my equipment here, the camera that I was using before, along with some little trinkets and stuff, some drawers and stuff that I have fast access to. I've got a charging station as well. I'm going to use that for. And the light switch to this section is over here behind this curtain. And all these lights and the lights up here change colors. I can change them through Bluetooth and through my phone. The ones in the back do not. I don't need those to be changed like that. As a matter of fact, I see one of them is trying to fall down here. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. And yeah, turn this back off. Those, that does have a dimmer though. I don't have those changing color, but I do have this little side dimmer where I can dim them if I need to, or make them brighter. These are all dimmed and bright and controlled by color through the smartphone. Below right now, I just got some random gear on this shelf below. Don't know exactly what I'm going to use that for. That's where all my cords are. I've got a cord management system I'm going to try to install before long. And then the bottom is all the spare wood that came from the desk and from the guitar wall itself. That's where I've got my helix for right now, camera tripod, got my microphone there, hooked onto this side for now. This is right now where I'm keeping the closest guitar that I'm using at the time. I've just got a little wooden stand here I'm leaving it on. I've got some speakers, don't know exactly what I'm going to do with those yet, but those are there. And I said I was going to tell you what I did with the spare piece of wood. This was a huge piece of wood that went right in the middle that I cut out because they had some imperfections. I couldn't really hang anything on it, but I ended up cutting it and using it. Bought me some slider tray things and used this for a custom keyboard tray. And I measured it so that it would be long enough to hold an actual keyboard behind here. The problem is it doesn't come out any more than this, and it was not as long as I'd hoped it would be. So I guess I can put a keyboard here, switch them out if I want to, or just keep one up here if I want to. But I also have a keyboard stand that I can just place it over here and leave it here at all times if I need to. So I could actually do some more composing with keyboard. So now that I'm over here, I've got TAS number 3. The video keeps buffering. Hopefully it's doing all right now. It says it looks like a cave. Yes, that's why I'm calling it Man Cave Studios. And that's pretty much the studio tour. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change the camera, disconnect this one real quick, and switch back to the good mic. Hopefully this hasn't been too bad. Go ahead and disconnect that. And switch me back to the actual mic. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hopefully everybody is hearing me just fine now. Yeah, good deal. All right, so here I am now at the desk, and another thing I forgot to show you is there's a little switch down here, foot switch. I've got everything connected to, so when I turn it off, it turns off some things that I don't need to have on all the time, and that is just easier to turn on with one switch. And that's my speakers, my helix, my camera that I'm looking at here, and for now I think that's it. But that is my studio, and so now let's take some time and look at these photos here. Okay, this is the Shed Studio photos, and let's see. Yeah, I'll do it on this screen, I guess, so that I can actually see the chat and everything over here. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one, and I will go ahead and switch the screen here. Hopefully everybody can see that. Switch for me, switch for me. Okay, we will do, is it this? I think it's this one. Yes, okay, so you should be able to see this, and I will wait. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to see this. Okay, so this is where we started. We had to dig a 18-inch ditch from where this connects here on the main. It connects to a little box here underneath the deck from off the main electric box in the house. Okay, so me and my dad worked for like 3 days digging this stupid thing, and it was one of the worst parts of this whole project. I'm telling you, it was rough. My back was killing me the whole time. It was a mess. So as we continue to go, we have some more pictures of this as we move along. It's getting deeper. We're working at it. We're working hard at it. Finally getting deeper. I'm wore out, so I took a picture of me to show how wore out was and how hard I worked at this. Some more of the ditch. A lot of dirt happening here. Just kept taking pictures of it. Another day, another shirt. Another sweaty day here. Okay, still working on it. This was, let's see, when was the picture taken? This was, I think it's July of 2023, something like that, 2022. So I just kept taking pictures of it so that I could have proof that if this ever, had to be done to code or whatever, that I have proof. There's me again, another day. All right, just about done with it. By the way, these steps collapsed on us while we're doing this, so now there's just some cement blocks here until I can get the steps replaced. So this is pretty much it being done so that the pipes can go through and the coax cable or the coaxial or whatever it's called, that electric cable goes through, and I'm totally wore out again. So this is like, I guess, day number 4. This is, I think, just taking a picture of, for some reason, underneath the porch. I don't know why. Okay, so this is to prove that it's 18 inches deep, at least, because that's what it's got to be for code or whatever. So we're proving that it's 18 inches deep, and man, I'm telling you, if you can, hire somebody to do this for you, or get yourself a ditch witch. This was a very small ditch, so I decided not to get a ditch witch. But this is all along the edge of the ditch to prove that the whole way it is 18, 19 inches, somewhere around in there. Okay, and this was a beast of a chore. Wore both of us out. We were sore for days after getting this done. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. More depth, and this is after laying the pipe where the electricity is going to come up. Okay, from the house to the shed. As you can see up in here, no mats or anything. That's actually what it looks like underneath these mats. I didn't put any other flooring down. This is just mats, and it's pretty much water resistant. So if I make a spill or anything, it's not going to seep through unless I just leave it there all day or whatever. Okay, continuing on. This is what it's coming through. Even the walls are bare. Like I said, this was basically a bare shed when we first got the house. Here's Dad. This is after filling everything in. He used a rake to kind of spread everything out, fill it all in the best way we could. Just taking pictures of all this after it's done. It's finally settled now, but that's what it looked like. This is the back wall, back behind me, the workbench. This is what it looked like as we were still using it to work on stuff and to dig this trench and to saw other things and everything. This is actually beadboard that was left over, I think from maybe inside the house, I don't know, but I've still got some of this left over. That's what's actually above me here. I use beadboard to encase and encapsulate these lights, and also I think I did the same thing on the back wall just to have something holding the lights in. This is this side of the wall that's over here where the guitar wall is now. This is some extra wood and everything that's left there. I mean, this place was totally bare. There was no whatsoever electricity or anything, and this is what I'm doing now. Actually, I know why I'm doing this. I'm taking pictures of where the electric outlets are going to be put. These are the junction boxes here, and where I'm placing them at, so that I'm taking pictures of everything as it's being done, so that I have a record of the progress of making the shed into a studio. Okay, so down here, like I said, here's that big piece of wood that I was telling you about that's got all, extends out. And I thought about using that to mount underneath and being the actual desk or keyboard tray, but I thought, no, I'll just leave it off, and I can use it for something else some other time. But this is what it looked like. I mean, it was completely bare. Continuing onward, this is the corner of the L. Okay, and at the time I was using the boxes that I was holding the books in, the storage boxes, for the actual bookshelf, so that was there for the longest. It's so satisfying to look back at this and see what all's going on here. This is, the picture was here so I could see the outlet here, and there's an outlet down here. The outlet is over here. That's going to be for the lot. Let's see. Let's go here. This is pictures of me drilling the holes with a paddle bit that I had to drill to get the electricity. I wired the whole thing myself. I didn't hook the electricity up. I had an electrician hired for that, but he told me how to wire it and where to wire it and everything else. So I wired it all myself. Put a lot of work into this. Here's some more of the holes. This is below. This is all the wires pretty much run below at knee level or so. So this is that whole side wall over here, where I've drilled paddle bit holes through all this so that the electric wire can run through it. This is me after that saying, what a hard day it was. And the side of me with all the sawdust bits all over me from drilling those holes. And this is where the stair collapsed on us. So we had to move that to the side, and it's still to the side. Probably needs to be trashed, but I just haven't got around to that yet. Now this is me recording where I put the wires so that I will know when everything is filled in with all this foam where are these wires located, so that I don't accidentally drill into something, because you don't want that to happen and short your wire out and have to redo all this or whatever. So I wanted a record of where all this wiring was. So this is me recording where I put the wires. Okay, and I wanted I don't know if you noticed this or not, but some of the outlets, I've actually got them at about knee level, because I didn't want them all the way on the bottom of the ground where I'd have to bend over every time I wanted to plug something in. So I wanted them at, the bottom of your arm height, so that I thought all this stuff out very well, so that I can future-proof having to any kind of situation that might come up. More wiring, where it's located, so that when it's filled in, I will have a record of it and know where it is. This is under the desk. This is the only place that I have it above, is above the windows, so that I could actually move or go on over to the door here and connect to the box, the junction box, or the main box. Yes, I wired the ones on top too. These lights up here, I wired those. And this is some extra quarter round and things that we had that was sticking above. Above, there's two joists, not joists, but there's two 2x4s up here. And where the A-frame kind of connects, and they were using that for storage. This is the other light. This is all ceiling stuff, so I can see where they connect to on the ceiling lights too, so that I know not to drill up there or whatever. Okay, once again, ceiling. Me after doing this and the soaked sweat sawdust. Found a little buddy here on my window one day while I was working. Big buddy, more like it. This is after I put some of that beadboard up to store the lights and to have something nice looking up there. Once again, tired day. This is after the guy got the place wired. What we had to do is I took another picture of this, because I did not know that the circuit has to be, he's got two separate circuits running. So one of them cuts off here and the other one cuts off here. So instead of running these through here, like where these holes are, we've got one circuit here and one circuit here. So that's not all. I think he said you can only have up to 10. Is it 12 or 10, something like that, on one circuit outlets. So he had to run separate circuits. And I've got a bunch of outlets in here because I did not want to have to fool with installing some later. So I've highly thought out where everything should be. And if you ever decide to build yourself a shed, or a studio out of a shed or whatever, really think it out. Draw it out, map it out, have a vision of what you want to see, because all this happened because I envisioned all this. I envisioned this desk looking the way it does. I envisioned where the outlets would be. I envisioned where the shelves were going. I envisioned where the lights was going to be. All this stuff I envisioned, so that I have to fool with it. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and put these lights back down to dim. Hey Siri, Purplesaurus Rex. See if it works. Yes, Siri changed my lines for me. Awesome. I programmed it to do that, so very cool. All right, let me see that in real time. I want to see that on the video over here that I'm looking at. Oh, that's so cool watching that. Okay, back to our thing here. Circuit was split. Now this was after it was spray foamed. Okay, this is once again this is open cell, not closed cell foam, because it's less dense. The sound won't just bounce off of it and fly everywhere else. It actually holds the sound. It traps the sound. Okay, so this is open cell. That's what they told me would do better, and to me it sounds great in here. There's hardly any reverb, if any, in here. Back, get ready. I'm going to clap. Let's see if we can hear any reverb. I just heard a little bit of an echo, but that's coming from the mains. That's coming from the speakers over here. If I turn the speakers down, do it again. Nothing. It's dead. That way I can add my own reverb. I can record things and not have to worry about it being dead. And when I listen to music, when I start doing some more mixing and things like that, no big deal there, because I'll have reference tracks that I'll know what it's supposed to sound like. If it's almost too dead in here, I won't have to worry about that. Okay, so back to the foam. We got the ceiling here. This ran about, I want to say $1,200, something like that, to get this done. $1,100-$1,200 to get the. And they asked me if I wanted to keep the sidewalls as they were, or if I wanted them trimmed like this. You can see they've been trimmed straight to line up with the studs. And I said, I kind of like the look of it, so let's just leave it like it is. It was a little bit of a hassle having to carve some of this stuff off to get the guitar wall up, but to me, it's still worth it. Still a great look in here, this cave look. Okay. All right, so this is some more of that foam, and that's me testing the color to see what it looks like. And I really love the color. This is, once again, this is hematite, and this is what it looked like afterwards. So it's coming together. I'm seeing this happen, and I'm getting very excited about it. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. This is the cave, kind of what it looks like. We had to take all the socket things off so that they wouldn't be spray painted over and all that. Back wall, what it looks like. And this is us installing the mats, the puzzle mats, for the flooring. A little bit of measuring there going on, cutting, different things like that. No big deal. This is DJ in here while he's doing some work. He's in here chilling out, watching his car programs on YouTube, which he loves to watch. But I love the way this came together. You got black and you got gray walls, and it's nice and dark in here the way I like it. And I like it dark like this, with the accent being the browns, the coffee kind of colors that's going on here. And that's what it looks like after we've done everything. Here you can't see where it's kind of risen up, but this is before I got the desk, and now all this wood that's sitting under here is kind of preventing the desk from, the floor from straightening out a little bit. So I'm guessing we have to move all this wood to get all this lined up right. I don't know, but that'll be for another day. There's the dimensions I needed for the desk itself, and here's the place. It's called Turn and Burn. Okay, if you want wood that's amazing and you live in Middle Tennessee, check these guys out. Sandy and Byron, great people, and they have some of the best wood I've ever seen in my life. This is rainbow poplar. Okay, this is black walnut, which I really wanted for the desk, but we couldn't get it in big enough sizes, and it was going to be really expensive anyway. But I wanted that dark color, which is why I stained this desk as it is. I stained it with coffee to get it darker. I was imagining it being darker than this, but I'm glad it turned out like it did. It's a warm coffee tan almost kind of color, and I love it. This was a huge slab of oak, and I think this is cherry next to it. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. Fell in love with it. This is cedar. Beautiful, beautiful wood. And this slab over here, if I'm not mistaken, is that the one I used? Maybe. I don't remember. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, I think that's the slab I used. This right here is the side of the guitar wall, but that knot is on the inside of the wall. It's not facing outward. Okay, so continuing onward, that's more cedar. That's it close up. This is that cherry, I think, that was next to the black walnut. Here we have some mesquite, straight out of Texas. They're originally from Texas, and so now they have mesquite from Texas, and it's hard to find around here from what I hear. It's more of that hints of rainbow poplar on the back wall here. That's probably other than the cedar, that's probably the most gorgeous wood that I've seen. Now this is it. This is the slab that I used. Okay, now once again, if I back up, you can see it real good right here. There's that knot. It's really jutting out. Okay. Okay. It's jutting out. That knot, if I kind of share with you here with this view, that knot is this jut right here. It's jutting out, and the knot that you saw is on the other side. So this is the side facing me, and this is just the way it turned out. You know, when the cuts were made, that's how it looked. And the other, you can't see it here, but the other dip that's more in the middle is up here at the top. But this is the knot right here that was we just saw. So let's go back to that. So there's that knot, and the middle piece is right here. This middle piece had too many imperfections in it, so I couldn't really use that to hang anything, so they cut the middle slab out, and that was the result, is what was hanging on the wall there. But this is gorgeous. I mean, this is beautiful. This is about 9 feet tall. 9 feet long is what I've got here. And this is called rainbow poplar. It's got gorgeous spalting here, gorgeous kind of greenish gray color. And here in this light, against this dark charcoal, you know, gray, it looks more brown than it does green. So, I mean, that's cool. There's some more detailed measurements of the L desk. This is me working on a guitar for the first time in this shop. I was very proud of that, which, by the way, I got to restring this thing again pretty soon. This is the actual ambrosia maple for the desk as it was when I bought it. This is what it looks like on the forklift. Actually, yeah, I bought 4 slabs, not 3. I bought 4 slabs, and this is what it looked like. This was unfinished, anything else. And right here's a really good example of that ambrosia beetle. That hole right there. If I can zoom in or not. Let's see. Can I zoom into that? Maybe. That hole. I don't think I can. But anyway, that hole right there. Will this work? Yes. This is where the beetle enters, and because of that, it scars the tree, and you can see these streaks everywhere. Okay, there's streaks. Here's another streak. It makes a hole. It goes in, starts chewing out, starts eating bugs or whatever's in the wood, and it scars the wood. Okay, so these are huge, and what I ended up doing was, you see where some of it's splitting. So some of it was split, and I was able to use some of that when they cut it and planed it to join together as best as I could, as you can see, into one huge desk for this side and one huge desk for the other L side. I super glued that, clamped it down with those clamps you saw earlier, and after 24 hours, it was solid. What I did was I actually attached it to the bottom of this desk where it had the plywood on top. I attached that with some brackets and some screws, and instead of gluing the whole desk to here, in case, you know, one of these days we ever move and I want to take the desk with me, I can unscrew it and just bring it with me. I don't have to worry about ripping it up from glue or anything like that. The only thing that's glued is the 2 pieces joined together. So I did that with both L desks, and that's why I bolted that to the wall, so I can take the bolts out and take those pieces of wood with me if we ever move either. All right, so I've pre-planned all this stuff. All right, tried to think of everything. This is the first time I put something attached to the building, in the building. Okay, so wanted to show that's level, even though some of these other things in here, that shelf earlier wasn't level, even though I did the level trick. I mean, the level thing did. I don't know what happened there. So this is what it looks like, I think, after I'd sanded it, before I finished it with a clear coat. I sanded it all the way down to 250, 2 something grit, I think. This is all along the line of it. Okay. once again, here's the actual piece of wood that was cut out of the middle. You can see these imperfections here, and that's what's actually in the desk here now. I mean the keyboard tray. Okay, so this is that middle piece, and you can see, I mean, this is a huge split here that wasn't very usable for hanging the guitar. This is before it's finished. Once again, this was after they had sawn it and planed it. Some of this wood had imperfections, so what I did was I flipped them over, and that's on the bottom now. So those sides, those pieces are on the bottom of this wood, so they're not showing up at all, which is really cool. And this is some of the wood grain I wanted to take pictures of because that's gorgeous. That's what ended up over here on the L desk. This is me sanding the thing. I bought me a palm sander just to be able to do this. So I'm sanding all this, getting it ready. This is after it's sanded. This is also after I used what's called a flap wheel. I don't think I have that with me somewhere, do I? Where I can show it to you. Yes. Sandy, the lady there, it's turning burnt. She uses grinders. She uses a grinder, a wheel grinder, to grind off the live edge. Whenever the bark's gone, you grind it and get all the imperfections off and make it look all smooth like this. And that's what I did. But I didn't have a grinder. I didn't want to go out and buy one. So what I did was I got this flap wheel adjustment from Lowe's, and I stuck it in my drill and put it on high speed, and it has these little grit pieces in the middle, and it's pretty high grit. It's pretty heavy grit. This is a 120, and so what I did was turn this on high speed and just pushed it to the side of this, rounding off the edges, smoothing off the sides, and this is the result. And I did the same thing with the L desk as well. So this is called a flap wheel. If you ever need an attachment and you don't have a grinder, use a flap wheel. I learned a lot of things while building this shed. Okay, and there's some more pictures of this. Okay, more pictures of this to where, how it was smoothed after I did the flap wheel. I just took a picture of this to remind myself what kind of brackets I used for those extenders, those 1x1 extenders on the studs. Just when I went back to a Lowe's, I needed more, and I just want to take a picture for reference. This is me and Dad out actually finishing the wood, putting the coats of this Minwax acrylic, which I think I told you. This is polyacrylic Minwax. And it took more than this one little can, actually. I had to buy another big can of it. It was about $27, something like that, just to get it to work. But look at this grain after you finish it. This is the unfinished piece. Unfinished, finished. Okay. This isn't after it has dried and had multiple coats, but this is what it looks like. And I know why, after doing this, people most of the time try to use a wipe-on finish, because you see these little drip lines, they actually stayed in the wood. So if you look closely, you can see some of these drip lines. Even though they're clear, I think, they dried clear, you can still see them there, which doesn't really, bother me or anything like that. But if you really want to have something look good, when you paint, you're going to get these drip lines like this, and it's going to be hard to get rid of them. Okay, so that's after us finishing the wood, trying to get it done. This is the comparison, non-finished but sanded and finished, and it just really pops. The color just pops. It's amazing. And this is what I used: crystal clear top coat, clear satin. I did not want a glossy finish on this. I wanted a satin finish, and I wanted a natural finish on my L desk, and that's why I used just the feed and wax. But I actually stained this a top clear coat because I wanted it to pop. And this is me shaving out and putting those brackets on and everything. They did not turn out as even as I wanted them to. I should have done a better job on that, but I was getting a little rushed with that, I guess. This is a closer up look at those. I've got it nailed to the stud and nailed to the bottom. Not nailed, but screwed to the bottom of the thing here. And same thing on the top. I did not want to screw into this because I needed to save some space from where the bolts were going to go. And actually there was one instance where the bolt ran into one of the screws that was coming down from the top. So what I did was I took a screwdriver, stuck it in that hole that I had pre-drilled, and used a hammer to kind of bang the tip of that screw out. And it actually worked, but it broke a little chip off that screwdriver. So you actually need like a little chisel or more of a heavy-duty screwdriver for that to work. This is the hole bit or hole router. I forget what this thing's called. A hole maker or something. I don't know. But anyway, you put it on your drill and you start this auger or whatever this thing's called drills the hole so that it will maintain its center point, and then this actually bites into the wood and creates the holes. And I was using this because I wanted to make holes in the desk here for the cords to come up, and I actually got little grommets so that as you see, like on a big desk, have these little cup-looking things where the wires come through. So I've got those, and I need to drill a hole in here to make that work. And so that's what this is for. And the funny thing is, after I got the last hole drilled, it was starting to wobble. So I think I bent the actual auger here. And on the very last hole that I drilled for the cords, the grommet, the auger itself broke. I mean, I can buy one to replace it, but I thought that was pretty neat. It lasted for like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 holes I had to drill just on this desk alone, and it lasted that long. So, and this was just like I forget the name. It's a Walmart name brand, Hercules or something, starts with an H. I forget what it was, but just a little cheap set. And this is the only bit I used from it, but I got my money's worth out of it because it was only like $11 or $15 or something like that. But I got all the holes drilled I needed drilled, and that's going through. On the bottom, I had to go from the bottom to the through the plywood and through the top of this hard maple. It was pretty tough to get through it, but I got through it. And where it wobbled, it didn't exactly line up, but I finally got it going. And what happened was the wood started burning. It started scorching on the inside. So you could see smoke coming. So I had to make sure that it didn't set the wood on fire or anything like that. But it must not have been very sharp. And of course, it was a cheap tool, but hey, if I had to do it over again, I would probably buy something a lot better quality. But that's just what I had, and it was all new to me. So I wanted to measure the thickness to make sure it would actually go through the wood here for the desk. And even though this wasn't going to completely go through, it almost would, I would at least have a drill bit as a guide and a hole as a guide so that I could drill from the top and then come in from the top and get the rest of it if I needed to, which is what I had to do. So this is the maple, ambrosia maple, lined up together. And I think this is after I sanded everything. Yes, this is after it's sanded. It's finished at like 200 something grit again. Let's see, I've got the thing here with me. That's 320 grit. So maybe it was 320 I sanded it down to. I mean, it was 220. I sanded it down to 220 grit. And that's when I started applying the coffee. This is the coffee I brewed. Okay, so it's about, I think this is a pint, no, a quart container. So it's half a quart, whatever that is, 2 pints or whatever, I don't know. And I just applied that 4 different times to all these pieces of wood on the top and the under part that sticks out. And so we can see the color as it's starting to dry here, the difference. Okay, so this was pretty light wood at first. And then when you apply the coffee, it gets darker. And I love the stain it turned out to be. I mean, it was gorgeous. I just used an old rag to kind of apply it on there. And once again, when you start staining it, the wood just pops. I mean, it's just a beautiful color. This is the difference. One side is, you can see the coffee on one side, and the other one is just plain without being stained. This is after both of the, actually all 3, here's the third one. All 3 of these were finished finally. I got them all done. Okay, that's what they look like. I mean, that's amazing. The wood is so gorgeous. I'm so glad I did this. I mean, I have not regretted it. Yes, it was a pretty penny to get it done, but it's worth it. And this is after I've stained the maple, ambrosia maple. Okay. And I think this is either before or after I did the feed and wax, because it's awful glossy looking. So I think this may have been after I oiled it with the beeswax feed and wax, maybe. This is after I put in the blackout curtains. I'm still as you can see, there's little clip things because I've got to have Melissa hem these up when we decide to get around to that. For now, it's all right. And that's what it looks like with all of them before I got all my stuff moved in. This is the Gorilla Glue. So I think yes, I oiled it first and did not oil the edges that were going to be glued. So this was with the wood being oiled, the first coat. And then I used Gorilla Glue to glue the joints together. Had them raised up. Then we put clamps on them. Let them sit overnight for at least 24 hours. And it was solid as one board. I mean, you could not get it apart. This is after mounting the guitar wall. And it's amazingly gorgeous. It's just a thing of beauty. The Lord makes beautiful things. Beautiful things. So once again, you can see here's where that knot was, and here's the middle where that hump is there. That's where I decided to put my deer mount, because I wanted that. And I probably won't leave my cables on there because it looks all clunky. I just had to find another place to put my cables so that the deer mount is really nice and prominent there. Okay, so guitar wall from the side. This is another thing of antlers we found in the woods while hunting one time, and that's my redneck way of making a bag to hold any trash. For now, it's still back there. This is me measuring. What am I measuring there? Oh, it's these bolts. I was trying to measure these bolts that I used, and it wasn't the right size. Even though it said one size, it was not that size. So I'm measuring the ones that were actually on here, and you can see this one says a quarter. Okay, this one's a quarter. This one I got from the quarter bin, but it's only like an eighth. Okay, so I've got to return those because they were not the right length, or not the right diameter. And we're getting down to the end here. This is me putting the. What am I doing here? I think it's just me taking a picture of this rack for some reason. I don't know why. This is me taking a picture of. Oh, these are taking, yeah, this is me taking a picture of everything that's in here, so I know where it's all at, know what kind of inventory I got, what all was in here. So that's just me taking a bunch of random pictures of everything that's in the building now. And this is what it looks like after it's all done, all said and done. This was a Taco Bell night, as you can see. I love the Baja Blast. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous desk. Whatever guitar one over here, I just plop it off the wall, bring it down here, put the other one on top. And there's always one down here beside me that I can reach when I'm doing lessons or whatever. And this is just some more inventory, more what's in the building kind of stuff, you know. This is one picture. I didn't get all the mounts on here yet, but I wanted to take a picture of it and show Sandy and Byron, let them know what it looks like now that I got it mounted, because they really wanted to see it. And this is what it would look like if I left the cables off the deer head. So, eventually, I'll probably just, I will most likely put me another, find me another way to get those cables stored. If nothing else, then actually hanging them off the back of the actual guitar mount things and just letting them hang on each one. Okay, once again, this is after everything was kind of settled in. And there's that switch I was telling you about. You just stomp on the switch and whatever's plugged into it turns on and off. It's really, really handy. This is the side view of the guitar wall. I think it was this one was may have been the thumbnail for this video, actually. Part of the thumbnail. And this is after I installed, it was getting dark outside. This was after I installed my writer's shelves and my little writer station with my books here. I was actually meant to bring more books out tonight and I forgot to. And this is the full guitar wall, what it looks like now after having everything mounted. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places for guitars. Places for cables, which I will put somewhere else. And then this rack back here that I can use for more guitars. And I've also got 2 of these wooden stands that you saw over here earlier to my side. Let me go over here so I can show it to you again. These. So here's 2 of these wooden stands. And I've also got more guitar stands in the house if I need them, which I probably don't. And that is the end of it. That is the end of our tour of the man cave. So from now on, all of my videos will be shown from inside the man cave. Okay, and I can also change these lights up here. I can tell the phone to change them to whatever. I have 3 or 4 different setups for these lights here, and I just got done making 3 or 4 setups in here for these. So that's what it looks like. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of my man cave studio. And yeah, can't wait to get started making more content for you here. Official things, I've actually got to get probably some better lighting. I've got some more lights I'm going to try to put on the floor here to actually showcase the guitar wall a little bit more, because there's not as much light as I thought there was going to be coming off the wall here. And so I think my camera, I don't know the settings well enough to get it to where the background is kind of bright as well, so then you actually see the guitar. So probably just going to put up some lights and maybe spotlight them on here. And just some little clamp lights I've got. Maybe even attach them above me and then just plug them into this wall and just have them on that way. I don't know. But it's still coming along. I've still got things to do in here. I've got boxes to unpack, you know, shelves to put books on and different things like that, and some more places to locate other things. But it is workable and it is usable, and I'm so very happy to have it done. So that I have a place away from the house, even if it's just right next to it, away from the basement, where I can actually look outside and have good views and enjoy God's creation and just enjoy my own space. Really, really do like it. So that's been the video for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody watching. I don't know what the next video will be. Currently, I've got another cover song in mind that I'd like to do. Some more Marcos Foley songs that I'd like to do. One of them I'm actually working on, a new song that I've been wanting to work on one of these songs that he's got for a while. Pardon me. I got away with only one yawn tonight, so that's not bad. But there'll be more bluegrass stuff coming up, more other things, all kinds of stuff that I can just knock off. And yeah, so I'm getting a little tired and loopy. It's almost getting to be bedtime. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Leave me your comments. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you are a subscriber and have not clicked the notification bell, please do so, because that's the only way you're going to get notified of my live streams, because I don't get on here anymore and take the first 15 minutes to try to notify everybody. It just takes too much time. So I'm going to say goodnight for now, and thanks to Taz number 3 for coming in and viewing, and everybody that viewed, everybody that views later, and I will see you on the next video. God bless, and as always, don't forget, keep creating.